Am I the asshole for un-RSVPing to a party over pasta salad? My friend Mel likes to throw parties, get-togethers. She does potluck style, everyone brings something to pass. Then she takes care if the main dish. Her parties have honestly become something I go to out of obligation more than for fun because I end up more annoyed than anything. Typically a few weeks or a month ahead Mel will make an event on social media and ask women to bring a dish and men can if they want. Then she wants us, women, to let her know what dish we're making so there's no doubles. I usually try to make something, porcupine bread, or some side dish. If my boyfriend comes with I make 2 dishes because I don't want us to be one of those couples that just bring one thing and he doesn't cook. There's this friend of Mel's, Claire. She brings the simplest things every time. Store-bought pasta salad, pre-cut fruit, a cheese and cracker tray. Which whatever, I don't care about that. Thing that bugs me is she always asks for leftovers and takes tons. Including of stuff I brought. Like if I made 2 things of porcupine bread and one was still in Mel's oven, to keep warm, untouched, she just gives it to Claire. Maybe I'd like to take food I made home? Not just give it to someone? Since it's leftovers, shouldn't that be my choice? Then there's this dude, Mark. He doesn't bring anything and he acts like he's doing everyone a favor for eating their food. He's an opinionated jerk. He always critiques food, it's annoying. Then he has 3 to 4 platefuls. So Mel is having a party, she created the event and I said I'd go. Outside of these dumb events I have fun with Mel. Then today she posted asking what women would bring. I wanted to be petty because I'm sick of putting in effort when Claire and Mark don't and get more food, so I said I'd make a pasta salad. Claire jumped on and said, Mel, I wanted to bring pasta salad. Mel messaged me and asked me to bring something else and named some previous more effort, expensive dishes I've made. I said no. I said, how come Claire always gets to bring pasta salad? She said because she doesn't know how to cook. I said, fine, I'll bring cut fruit. She asked why I was being like this and I said that I was sick of putting in effort to cook and other people that bring nothing or low effort stuff getting majority, including my leftovers. And my food being constantly critiqued by someone that brings nothing. She said these things are about getting together with friends and sharing food, not keeping score. I said, fine, then I won't come. I guess Mel talked to 2 of our friends that go to these things and they said I'm being immature and petty and it should be about seeing friends more than who brings and takes what. My thing is I'm sick of putting time, money, and energy into cooking something and having my food reviewed by a jerk and given away to someone I don't really like. These events aren't even fun since only 3 people I'm friends with are there. Am I the asshole for un-RSVPing ETA? I've tried to just not go to these things before but Mel questions me about it. What are you doing? Why won't you come? Etc. Not the asshole. If it was really just about getting together then your offer to bring a fruit tray should have been acceptable. Why can't men bring food? Gross. Because most of the guys don't cook and they're usually with their girlfriends anyway, Mel's words. That's some sexist crap. Plenty of men cook. I'd be pissed from moment 1 just for this. Not the asshole cut fruit was being generous. Wow. That's some deep, internalized misogyny Mel's got going. I'd refuse to go for that alone. My husband was a fantastic home cook and loved to bake cookies and bread. We had a church bake sale and a family bought a couple loaves of bread that they knew came from our family. The other husband came up to me and praised my baking skills. My answer shocked him. While I do bake, the bread was made by my husband. Not the asshole. This is not a friends group. It sounds like acquaintances who are happy to use you. I appreciate your social anxiety and irritation, and would be equally miffed. I'd never have the foresight to lay it all out there to the host though. I'd just ghost these get-togethers. Life is too short. Yay, it's basically Mel's friends and her BFS friends, but for some reason since she's friends with us we're all friends with each other. Maybe that's how it works with some people but not in this situation. Geek social fallacy number 4. Friendship is transitive. Wow. Thank you for that link. It really helped me understand some issues I've been having with a friend. It's gotten so bad that I'm having a hard time calling her a friend right now, except it's fallacy 2 and 3 instead of 4. Not sure exactly what I'm going to do about it, but it's helping me understand her motivations a little more. Not the asshole. If it doesn't matter who brings what, why are they bitching at you for bringing fruit? Because I know how to cook. Just tell her you will eat beforehand, so won't need to bring anything. Not the asshole. If it was just about the friendship and not the food, then your offer to bring fruit or pasta salad would have been perfectly fine. Clearly for them the point of you being there is to feed them, not for the pleasure of your company. Not the asshole. If it is about being with friends and not the food, why can't you bring what you want? Why couldn't you bring the cut fruit? You are correct that potluck etiquette is you take your own leftovers home, and it's super rude to give it to others without asking, and hella rude to dictate what you bring. Yes, either everyone takes what they brought or everyone gets a mixed plate with some of everything that is left. Sorry, I'm busy. Not the asshole. How rude and annoying. PSH, I've tried. Once I actually had to work. Her response was, well, I'm telling you enough ahead of time, you can ask off. No is also a complete sentence. No plus block, mute, divert emails to a folder marked whining. Not the asshole. Stop going. The parties sound terrible. If these things are about getting together and sharing food, then it doesn't matter what you bring, so you can take cut fruit. Mel can't have it both ways. Not the asshole. Yep. I think she thinks that since they're her friends, they're everyone else's friends too, and I should enjoy cooking for her and sharing my food with them. At this point, if you go, I'd probably bring a small tub of store-bought coleslaw or something, to make the point that it's acceptable for others, so it should be for you as well. Or bring a pasta salad so good that no one ever wants Claire to bring it again. Regardless, stop bringing 2 dishes. Tell them how you were really looking forward to having the leftovers at home for lunch. Mel is holding you to a different standard and taking advantage of you. She needs to stop doing that. And she needs to quit her sexist bullshit that cooking is a woman's job. She either expects all guests to cook, or no one. And take less food so there won't be leftovers. Make twice as what you take to the party and leave the rest at home for yourself. Or just don't go. Life's too short to put up with people or events you don't like. Not the asshole. Not the asshole. The real asshole here is the lazy food critic and the freeloaders. That said, you should have just told her you didn't want to come, and if you really felt you had to give an explanation, you could just say that you prefer smaller gatherings, potlucks aren't your scene, etc. If she kept pressing you after you politely declined, then she would be the asshole. Not the asshole. If it is more a drag than enjoyable, I don't blame you for skipping. Especially with Mark and Claire. BTW, porcupine bread? What is that? Just curious. Cheesy pull-apart garlic bread. I've had that, but never heard of it by that name. I have the same problem as the person who wrote that article. Lack of self-control when it comes to a dish like this. You're invited. Please bring the porcupine bread, I'll make sure there are no leftovers. Smiley face. And there will be no negative critiques. Okay, that looks amazing. Thanks for sharing. And I'm totally going to make it. It looks pretty simple to make. Which brings me to my next point. Not the asshole. You have come to a point where you feel taken advantage of by people, whose company you'd rather be without. So I'd say it is about time to quit going to those potluck affairs. Not the asshole, but neither is Claire. Mel sounds weird in every way possible. Firstly, the concept of the parties isn't necessarily all bad, but there are a few points about it that are bugging me. The fact that she expects all of the women to cook while the men get the choice to sit back and enjoy everyone else's hard work. That's a big no. Then, there's the fact that it's a party. The whole point of parties is to be fun. By the sounds of it, you've been annoyed by the parties for a long time, and as your friend, Mel should have acknowledged that and asked what she was doing to make you feel that way. Aside from the party itself, it's weird to hold your friends to different standards based on their abilities. Just because someone is capable of doing something doesn't mean they're obligated to, and if Mel can't understand that, I feel like she doesn't really deserve the amount of effort you put into the parties. Mel is also the one that gave Claire your food, and the one that is asking you to do more in return for less. Don't hold Claire accountable for her actions. Look, Claire can bring something else besides pasta salad. If someone called dibs first, she can suck it up and buy something else to bring. She isn't the queen of pasta salads. That is not the point. They want original poster to bring interesting food since she can cook, and Claire will bring the pasta salad as she can't cook. So basically, you cook and my lazy friends will enjoy, critique the food and take the leftovers without permission. I realize that, but the point I was making was in response to the comment above stating that Claire is also not the asshole. She is. Just because she can't cook, and who the fuck can't cook anything at all, doesn't mean that she is entitled to brining in store-bought pasta salad for all eternity. If Claire really can't cook, or if she doesn't want to, she can buy something else. Agreed. And she takes leftovers? That is not how PUTLOCKS work. You bring home what you brought, she can bring home her shitty leftover food. That's it. This is absolutely where Claire is ta. She took home original poster's whole loaf of untouched garlic bread. How incredibly rude. I mean, now that original poster has shared the recipe, I totally get why Claire wanted to take it home, because it sounds amazing, but that's just not what you do. I actually went to a potluck recently where, because some people were still worried about COVID, everyone brought store-bought items. It was fine, and I'm still scratching my head trying to figure out why guys can't cook or buy a takeout item to bring. Mel needs to join the 21st century. Taking home a whole untouched loaf of someone else's work is wild. I'd even accept it if Claire said, "Hey, your bread is irresistible. Would you mind if I took home a serving or two?" But an entire untouched loaf? No. Ultimately, you don't enjoy this gathering of people. If you did, it's possible that you would forgive Pasta Salad Lady for being lazy and or incompetent, and Mr. Mooch for being crass. But you can't do those things, because you don't like them, and don't like the event. Perhaps you've outgrown it. Perhaps they've outgrown you. It doesn't matter. Not the asshole, and spend some much-needed time branching your social group instead of being on Reddit. Redditors make terrible pasta salad. Not the asshole, but Mel is for that. Men can bring a dish if they want. Not the asshole. And don't be friends with people who have different standards for men and women, aka misogynists. Everyone sucks here. What a fuck to have a party in which men are so special that they just have to show up. Why aren't the men responsible for bringing something? Some men cook. Stores now have loads of options for things that are prepped: coleslaw, pasta salad, various forms of charcuterie. Bakeries have delicious desserts, and of course there is the classic to bring wine, beer, mixers, tequila, etc. But you are a bit of an ass for going to social events that you don't enjoy, and so you resent it. Just don't go and you won't feel resentful. I enjoy baking and cooking, so I like potlucks like this because it gives me a chance to try out a new recipe, especially something I bake, since normally I wouldn't want a batch of cookies or a whole cake for myself as it would be too tempting. On the other hand, I wouldn't go to a social event in which the men were told to bring nothing. I didn't enjoy the company, and there were some people who were actively irritating to me. Yeah, that bit about the men not having to bring anything pissed me off. Not the asshole. No wonder you are irritated. She is literally contradicting herself. Mel says, these things are about getting together with friends and sharing food, not keeping score. Right after saying, why are you being like this? When you offered to bring food that cost less, took less effort. There are many unflattering definitions for this behavior. Contradicting oneself is the most polite. If you think that you might still want to go and could see yourself enjoying it if you brought a less expensive and time-consuming thing, such that you were just able to give it away in full every time and not worry about leftovers or who has what, then you should just bring whatever you feel comfortable with. And if it still causes issues after 2 or 3 more times, then you give it up and know what kinds of friends those are, and hopefully by that point your main friend will realize she is being contradictory. There are millions of people in the world who go to parties and bring food someone else prepared and they bought at a grocery store. There are billions of people who go to a party and bring something with cost in mind. Almost everyone in the world. And that cost is different depending on what part of the world you live in and each person's economics and the type of party. And #X200B. They should feel ashamed for insinuating that you should be ashamed. Everyone sucks here. Mel for her weirdly sexist policy that only the women have to contribute. That creates a far greater discrepancy in contribution between members than Claire's pasta salad and pre-cut fruit everkid, and B. It puts more pressure on the people bringing food to bring larger quantities because only some of the guests are contributing. Also a light asshole for giving original posters food away. Potluck etiquette is that if you brought it, you get first dibs at the leftovers, and she should be offering the leftovers first to the person who brought each dish. Claire for assuming she's allowed to take everyone else's leftovers and for kicking up a stink over not being able to bring pasta salad one time. But she's not an asshole for failing to meet original poster's arbitrary metric of good enough, in terms of monetary value and being home-cooked. The whole point of a potluck is it allows for each participant to contribute within their means, which includes their time, money, and cooking abilities. Again, Mel's sexist setup of the parties really contributes to this issue because it's putting so much pressure on the women to feed everyone, which is understandably expensive. I can't blame Claire for finding a way to participate that doesn't break the bank. The men who don't contribute for taking advantage of their friends. And finally, original poster for stewing over this for so long that she's grown resentful and chose to take the pettiest road to solving the problem. So, everyone sucks. But if I had to pick the royal sucker, it has to be Mel for starting this whole debacle with the men eat free policy. Also original poster for recognizing, yet still participating in the sexism. Her own boyfriend doesn't cook and she brings something extra for him. Everyone sucks here. You for not being able to have a talk about what bothers you, and acting childish so that others would notice your discomfort. Mel for being sexist. This is 2022, wake up Mel. And refusing the fruit slices. Mark for not bringing anything but criticizing those who do. Claire for feeling that leftovers are hers. What an exhausting group. Not the asshole women have to bring the food and check in so there aren't any duplicates and men can bring something, if they want to. What a fuck. Even men who can't cook can buy something. This was a miserable way of doing things from the start.